Hello, hello, and welcome to the Passionate Power Couples Summit. I am your host, Latoya J.R. Borders, and you're going to be learning how to connect more, communicate better, and create extraordinary, happy, long-lasting marriages. Today, I'm with a lovely young lady. Atia, how are you?
I am wonderful, Latoya. How are you?
I am great. It is early, and I am up and ready to go.
Fantastic. Well, you know where I'm at. It's actually later. It's 6 o'clock in the evening where I'm at. So
our 8-hour difference.
Yes. Yes.
So we're going to hop right in there, and I want to just ask you, or I just want to let everybody else know who you are and what it is that you do. So just tell us who you are and what it is that you do.
Well, my name is Atia. I'm known as the marriage strategist. I kind of do a lot of different things, but I do a lot of metaphysical work. Mm-hmm. I am a master Reiki practitioner and teacher. I do yoga, and wow, I help men, women, and couples, along with my husband. We help men, women, and couples discover their own truth for a better marriage and relationship. Mm. We provide a platform and different outlets for people to become more empowered and really live life to their full potential and walk in their life purpose.
I love that.
So that's in a nutshell. I have an extensive background. I have a behavioral health background. I have a mass communications background. You can read my bio. The long bio, you can read that. But basically, I'm helping y'all get y'all stuff together.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Okay, we're going to go right ahead. What is paramount? What is the one area you feel is paramount to staying connected? Mentally, physically, spiritually, or emotionally?
The number one thing that is paramount to staying connected on all of those levels, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, is communication. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to know how to communicate. And communication is not just what you say verbally, but it's also nonverbal communication. There are many levels. People need touch. People need to know that they're loved verbally. So you have all of these different ways to express and to communicate, and that's paramount. So you have to learn how to communicate, not just verbally, but non-verbally. You have to know how to be able to express how you're feeling in various ways. So that's paramount.
I love that you said the verbal and non-verbal. You're actually one of the first people who said that, and I've always felt that way. Because you can say something with your mouth, but if you roll in your eyes, you don't mean what you say. You actually just said. You mean something else, and I always feel like people forget that part. I said I love you, but how did you say it? You said I forgive you, but how did you, throw it at me?
That's true, but it's one of the things I always say, and it comes from one of the scriptural texts, and it's delivering, I believe it does, but delivering a clear message. And delivering a clear message is not just saying what it is you want to say, but it's also behaving and acting where it's congruent and in line with what you're saying. So you have to not just say, but you have to do. If you're saying one thing and you're doing another, that message is not congruent. You're not delivering a clear message because you're sending mixed signals. So it's very important that you do what you say.
I love that.
And say what you do.
Say what you do. Okay, so how do you keep a great connection with your spouse or reconnect if it's lost?
Again, communication and not being afraid to say how you feel. You have to own your feelings. The other person may not agree with what you say or how you feel, but they're yours and they're valid. And the partner has to be able to validate how you're feeling. Okay, I may not necessarily agree with where you are, your position, but I understand, or even if you don't understand, I hear what you're saying. I receive what you're saying. I acknowledge what you're saying. And what you're saying is very important to me. So you have to be able to communicate and validate your partner's feelings. And then the person who has those feelings have to be able to own it. Those are yours. There's nothing wrong with how you feel. It's the truth of how you feel. So how I connect with my partner, stay connected, is we have to communicate and we have to be real with one another. You can't sweep your feelings and what you're experiencing internally under the carpet. No, you have to bring it to the table and you have to deal with it. And sometimes it's not always a pleasant thing. Sometimes it doesn't always come out the way you want to, or the way the other person feels it should come out. But the fact of the matter, if you're communicating and you're not being abusive to one another, then that's half the battle right there.
I definitely agree. I agree with that. I was just thinking to myself that sometimes it's not solved in one conversation. Because I know people hear communication like, okay, I'll just talk about it. Sometimes it's a 3 a.m. conversation because I'm up, because it's on my mind. Let's have this out because I'm feeling this type of way. And in the beginning, I didn't know that. I thought we should just talk about it one time and it should be done. I should know how you feel. You should know how I feel, and then it's done. But it doesn't always happen that way. And it's a series of conversations to get where you really want to be, if it's going to be a marriage that lasts.
That's true. And you have to be willing to say, look, I need to take a pause. I need to get a breather. I need to regroup. But then you don't just leave it to chance on when you're going to communicate about the issue again. No, you have to set a time. Okay, we can come back in an hour and we can begin to hash it out some more. And I always tell people, don't go to bed angry. And that's just like relationship common sense. I know for some people it's not. Don't go to bed angry. Don't be turning your backs, and deal with it, because even though you disagree, the love is still there, or the love should still be there. And so you might not solve the issue in one day. You might not even solve it in 2 weeks, but at least agree on a time. We're going to hash this out a little bit more tomorrow at whatever time. Then if you don't resolve it, okay, let's pick this back up the next day. And even if you don't come to an agreement where both of you are seeing eye to eye, at least agree that it's okay not to agree, and agree on how you're going to handle a situation if it arises again. So you don't necessarily have to get into a stalemate or a deadlock. You may not like it this way. Okay, I like it this way. You don't. Because we're on opposite sides of the fence on this issue, we need to create an agreement on how we're going to deal with this issue if it arises again.
I love that, 2 different opposite sides, because we might be on 2 different pages, but we're still in the same book.
That's right. That's right. Very good point. I like that.
That ain't mine. I think I stole that from somewhere, but I can't remember where. Okay, so what strategies have you suggested or employed that have successfully helped create longevity in marriages?
That's a very, very good question, LaToya. And as a marriage strategist, it's really individualized, because people's issues, although you have patterns of behavior that's just common to most marriages, there are certain things that is an issue with most marriages. But each couple has their own individual challenges and obstacles and things that they need to create a healthy dynamic, or to maintain a healthy dynamic. And so the strategies are really individualized to the couple. One of the things that's almost consistent through all couples is, first of all, you have to own your feelings and you have to acknowledge your mate's feelings.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with how you feel, and there's nothing wrong with how your mate feels. You just have to understand that this is how each of you feel. The other thing is to create sacred space. That is so very important. In your home, create, whether it's a corner, whether it's a closet, whether it's a room, create sacred space and have bonding circles at least once a week, where you're not arguing about different things, but you're talking about your dreams and your goals, and you're talking about maybe how your day was or how your week was, and what you all need to do as a couple to maybe strengthen your relationship or to move forward on one accord. So those are 2 of the strategies. That sacred space makes a world of difference. The other thing is, understand that we're talking about traditional couples here now for a moment, not traditional couples, but there are gender differences. And you have to grow to learn and understand those gender differences. Men are more logical. They want you to get to the point 9 times out of 10. They don't want to hear a long, drug out story. But women have the need to express. We feel everything. Our environment affects us. The
Yes.
smells affect us. All of these different things affect us. They affect men too, but not as readily as women. And women are very subtle. Men don't get it sometimes unless it's knocking them upside the head. Women pick up things very subtly. Another thing that I tell couples, and for those non-traditional couples that are out there, you're dealing with the yin and yang, or the masculine and the feminine energies. So, you know, one may project more of the masculine or feminine energy over the other, and then that's how you would basically reconcile that. But it's very important to respect and honor each other, and I tell this to couples who come to us. We tell this to couples who come to us who are having conflict and need help with conflict resolution. Is you're not enemies. So stop behaving like you're enemies. You're not trying to get one up on the other. You're trying to resolve a matter that's conducive to both of you, and keep everyone else out of your business. You know, your cousin, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your friends, your boys, your girls. They may have their take on what should happen, but at the end of the day, it's between you and your partner. And as teammates and team members, it's not about only what's good for you or what's good for me. It's about what's good for the team. And sometimes, as men and women, we have to take one for the team. And that's the way it is. Kind of swallow your pride. You got to get ego. Another strategy is we deal with putting your ego in check. Ego is the one that'll tell you, oh, I'm insecure, or he's cheating, or she's cheating, or I'm not good enough, or I don't measure up. Or your ego is the one, oh, wow, bringing up stuff from way back when you were 13 or 14 years of age. That's that ego. So couples and people, individuals have to tell your ego, you know what? Thank you. Now sit down and be quiet.
Have several seats.
You have to rise above that.
Yes.
So another strategy is not taking stuff from the past and then making it part of your present. Deal with your issues and let it go. If you got all these shoulda, woulda, couldas, you need to make a list, write them down, and then you need to go burn. First, you need to talk about it. If it's not resolved, then you need to burn the list. Wipe the slate clean. Yes. Don't keep record of the wrongs that each of you do, because in relationships, you're going to constantly be needing to forgive. You're going to constantly be needing to apologize.
Yes.
That's just the nature of two people traveling this journey together. So you can't be holding grudges or being resentful and being bitter. Get over it. Deal with your issues and get over it. Get over yourself and get over it.
I love it. Straight to the point. I love it. Okay, so why is sex and intimacy so important in a happy marriage?
That is a very, 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 very good question. And I wrote an article about sexual energy, which through Black Life Coaches. So if you're listening to this message, this interview, definitely go look for the article on Black Life Coaches on sexual energy, because it is another way to connect. See, in relationships, you have, I want to say one more thing before I move forward. Another strategy is cutting those negative cords. That's very key. So now coming back to the sexual energy, when two people engage, I'm an advocate for abstinence before marriage.
Okay.
In other words, I'm an advocate not to have premarital sex. And it's not necessarily just a religious reason. It's because as a metaphysical practitioner and a person who deals with energy and energetic healing, when you are engaged sexually with the person, there are cords that are created, and that person gets inside of your aura.
Yes.
And so when you are engaged sexually, that's how two people become one. It's helping you to become closer. Sex is designed to bond you, to strengthen that bond. And whenever you're exchanging in that way, part of that person's aura becomes a part of yours.
I love that.
And so it's very, 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 very key that when you connect with someone sexually, that you both are healthy and whole.
I love that.
Does that make sense?
That makes so much sense. I love that.
So
Okay.
that's the simplified version of it.
Simplified.
But read the article, because the article goes in more depth about the importance of sexual energy. But just very briefly, if I can say this, when you connect with someone, there are always cords of attachment that takes place. When you have sex, of course, those cords become deeper. What you don't want is, you don't want negative cords of attachments or attachments to exist. You want to cut those cords, and you only want to have the positive connections that stay, because you want to remove the toxic aspect of the relationship. And all relationships come with a positive and a negative charge, but the key is to cut the negative cords and attachments.
Oh, I needed to hear this a couple of years ago. So what is the number one thing you think is stopping couples from having that happy marriage that they really want?
I think there's a couple things, which, again, that's a good question. First of all, people come together for the wrong reasons. They're not real from the jump street. They're bringing this person that's not really their true, authentic self to the table. And so people are connecting not from a compatibility standpoint, but they're connecting from whatever fears or issues they have a lot of times.
Yes.
And so then when they experience the issues down the road, it's because at the beginning of the relationship, the connection didn't happen or the way it should have from an authentic standpoint. Repeat your question again. I want to make sure I hit it right on the nail.
What is the number one thing stopping people or couples from having a happy marriage?
The other thing is, again, it's coming together for the wrong reasons or staying together for the wrong reasons, and not being authentic and supportive of each other, and holding on to baggage, sometimes from childhood, sometimes from things that's happened in that particular relationship, or sometimes things that's happened in past relationships. You have to, when you love someone, we all come with issues. We all come with baggage. A person, and there's a saying out there, so this didn't come from me, but a person who truly loves you and honors you, they're going to help you unpack your baggage.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. And help you get ready. If you can't deal with me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best. Because we all have issues that stem from our childhood, even past lives, that we're working out in this incarnation.
Yes.
And so these people are a part of your soul family, unless you're connected with your twin flame. That's a whole nother interview and a whole nother conversation. So when we say we help people connect, we work with connecting twin flames. That person who was created and born for you to be able to work out and live in purpose from a higher realm, from a higher space.
Okay.
And not here, but here. People that, a lot of times, couples or different people that's in their sphere are part of their soul family. So really just being willing to grow together and not apart. You got to eat from the same tree.
Ooh.
You can't, the man can't be eating over here and the woman eating over here. Because now you're nursing and being nurtured from two different. You all have to nurse off the same tree, so that you can be in alignment and walking in agreement on this. So a lot of times, couples have these issues that they struggle through, and they're not able to overcome because the intentions from the jump street weren't right. You got to deal with that. And if you're together and you've been together like 5, 10, 15 years and you're still struggling, it's natural to struggle. But at the same time, you need to go back to basics and find out what it was that connected you in the beginning in the first place, and then work on growing together and being a complement to one another as opposed to in competition.
I love that, presenting your authentic self. I think that's one of the reasons why me and my husband are so connected. It really was by accident. We both met really young. I was only 20. And I was at the time, I don't care. I'm just doing me. If you want me, then you accept all of me. I was in that mode. And he had just come out of something. He like, I'm not going to be nobody but myself. And we accidentally or by fate came together and was just completely authentically ourselves. And I think that's why our connection is so strong. So I'm so glad that you touched on that.
That's divine. So you know it wasn't
It was
accidentally.
not an accident at
You
all.
are looking, which is usually when you're looking, it doesn't happen anyway.
That's
It's when you're
exactly
not
what
looking that it happens. And this is very key for you single people out there, or those people who really, really want to be connected with someone. You don't want to be connected with anyone. You want to be connected with your twin, or with that person that is designed for you, that was made and prepared for you. In order to be able to energetically draw that person into your sphere, you have to be walking in your purpose. You have to be being authentic and true to who you are, because everything about who you are, how you feel, what you think, there is an equal out there for you. You don't have to look for him or her. That's all you have to do is just be. And then receive that person into your sphere, because they'll let you know.
Yes. A lot of people look and say, it's easy for you. I said I did. It wasn't like I was trying to look, and he wasn't trying to look, and it just happened that way. So that's great. I love that. And so one of my last...
Wait a minute. How long? Wait a minute before you ask your last. How long you been married?
6 years. Together 10.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome. Okay. All right.
So do you think that you need a vision to have a great marriage that's going to last? A marriage vision?
Yes. Where there's no vision, the people perish. It's a principle. Wow. That's not something that's just tucked away in the biblical text. Where there's no vision, the people perish. That's a principle that transcends religion, race, culture, everything. If you don't have a vision, you ain't going nowhere. If you cannot see, you have no direction.
Yes.
You have to be able to have an idea in your mind's eye of what it is, where you're going, what you desire as the end result. And one of the things I encourage individuals as well as couples is to create that vision for your marriage and that mission for your marriage. But as an individual, have your own life mission for yourself. So any connections that you make, whether it's in the relationship department, the friendship department, intimate relationship, friendship relation, whether it's a job, regardless, associations, when you know what your life mission is as an individual, you can assess and analyze a corporation's mission, another person's mission, to see if it coincides with you. Because if our missions are not compatible, if they cannot be collaborative, then this is not going to work. Right. Because we're going in two different directions. The fundamental belief system or where we're going or what we think or the character of who you are is not a match. People have different value systems. Do you have the same value system that I have?
Yes.
You understand? You might think that your mother is number one, should be first. I think that the husband should be first in the wife's life, and the wife should be first in the husband's life, second only to the Creator.
Yes.
To source.
Yes.
Everything else falls in line. And I did another audio, and I was actually struggling between the two to give away, but it's called balancing friends, family, and frenemies, or family, friends, and frenemies. So it's only $5. You can go out there and get it. But I talk about the different people that comes that's that's associated with the couple.
Mm-hmm.
And how when two people, you can have friends when you're single, you can have your boy, you can have your girl when you're single, and y'all just the best of friends. But when you get married, if that person is not a friend of your marriage, then something has to give with that relationship, because you forsake all others. And that's a very difficult thing. You have to leave and cleave. And people don't understand how deep that leave and cleave thing is. There's a reorganization of your relationships. And naturally, people want to know where they fit in now that you're married.
Yep.
So I did a message to help people put those things in alignment, so you'll know where people fall in and how to gracefully reorganize or reassign roles. Because your emotional support, the majority of your emotional support or first emotional support should come from your mate.
Yes.
But women sometimes, who's daddy's girls, they want to run to daddy if hubby can't get what they need. And sometimes men is a mama's boys and haven't really cut that apron string, and it caused issues in the family because the mama is no longer queen of the castle.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And daddy's no longer king of the kingdom. At the end of the day, it's husband and wife. Everyone else, there's different roles. There's been a reorganization of roles.
I love that.
That's the hardest part. So
it is a very difficult thing. Like I say, for myself, it was very difficult. I'm a very people pleaser type person. I love making everybody around me happy. And the person that I love making happy the most was my mother. And when I got married, it wasn't her, it was me. It was her or my husband. It was me putting her before my husband. And I couldn't figure out why it was so much tension. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And it was me. And once I reorganized that, my mom completely understood. And my husband was like, I was waiting on you. And it was perfect. So thank you for that. I wish I had that a couple of years ago.
And I get that. I've been married before, and I was in a 16-year marriage. And my mother ran my life. My mother was not the type of woman who interfered, for the most part anyway. She wasn't that. But I, like you, was one of them, wanted to please my mama, wanted my mama to be happy, because I grew up in a single parent household, wanted her to be happy. She never married, and just wanted her to be happy. But you learn, you live and you learn. And eventually you make that transition when you want your marriage to work.
That's perfect. Okay, so God, this interview was just so great. Like, you just gave me so much energy. You have no idea right now. I want you to tell everybody about your free offer, because I need them to stay connected to you. So please.
Well, thank you. The free offer is keeping your eyes on the prize. And in this case, for couples, the prize is your relationship bliss, heavenly bliss on earth. Heaven on earth with your mate, your partner. And basically it is a close to a 30-minute audio message that really talks about how to keep your eye on the prize, regardless of what's going on externally in your sphere, regardless of how chaotic things or life may be, to keep focused and keep your eye on what's important. And it's really an interesting message. I think you'll find it very useful, very helpful. It gives you ways to keep that connection, even in the midst of struggles.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you guys are going to get that. It's going to be at the link at the bottom of this video. Make sure you get it, because it's a need. I'm getting it, so I'm telling you to get it. Thank you so much. I just have a quick question for my passionate power couples out there, and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. I want to know, when and where can you create your sacred space? Atia said it's so important. So sit down with your spouse and say, hey, hun, where can we sit where it's just me and you? Glass of wine, maybe a book, and we can just talk and be in our bubble. You guys have a great day, and thank you, Miss Atia.
Thank you for having me.